Praise and worship has a radical dynamic to transform your life from the inside out, completely. Hi, I'm Pastor Tom Hoban of Good News Christian Church here in Cork City. When we think about how much money is spent on advertisement, I mean millions and billions. And the reason being is because what we look upon really does affect us. And if there's endorsements from a sports representative or a music person or a political person or someone whom you look up to, it has a great effect on you that you might think the same, buy the same, look the same. And that's why they spend so much money on it, because what we look up to and who we look up to affects us greatly. Even if it's just friends who we hang around with, their thoughts, their opinions. And if it's somebody of great importance to us, a hero, and somebody that we really, really appreciate, then it can really have a great effect on us, on our thinking, our attitudes, what we wear and what we do, hence how much money they spend on it. You were made to worship. You were made to look up upon something greater than yourself. And God is the greatest that we should look upon. He is worthy of our worship. And as Christians, we've come to know that, and we're called to live a lifestyle of gazing upon Him. Because as we do so, we become more like Him. You were made to be the image of God, to reflect God. That is your calling in life. And one of the ways we begin to reflect God, as the moon reflects the light of the sun, is to gaze upon God. Moses experienced this. We saw where Moses in the Old Testament walked into the presence of God, talked with God as a man would talk to a friend. And as he did so, it changed him. It changed his countenance to such a degree that every time he came out of that tent of meeting with God, he shone with the glory of God to the point where even the Israelites were afraid of him or looking upon him in a way that he didn't want. Eventually Moses had to put a veil on his face. He didn't want that attention. But the dynamic is seen, that as we gaze upon and as we spend time in the presence of God, that it reflects back on us and we show something of Him. As we look upon Him, it affects our thinking and the way we act. It transforms us from the inside. In fact, in 2 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 18, it says this: "And we who with unveiled faces reflect the Lord's glory are being transformed into His likeness with ever increasing glory, which comes from the Lord who is the Spirit." With unveiled faces, we go into God's presence and worship Him. And as we worship Jesus, as we look upon Him who is our Master, we begin to reflect Him. We begin to become more Christ-like as we too take on His thoughts, His thinking, His faith, His understanding, His heart. And so praise and worship has a way of radically transforming you, metamorphose, completely transforming you. So let's continue in this lifestyle and increase in our lifestyle of gazing upon Him who is worthy of our worship, that we would be transformed completely, completely.